Hello.
We back? We're good? You can hear me good? You can hear me good?
I could hear you, man.
All right. Sorry, my computer was glitching. You know the weather's bad up here in Ontario. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I said your two central doctrines are either contradictory or highly unlikely.
And if I heard you correctly, you said soteriology and the Trinity, correct?
Yep.
All right. Let's start with soteriology. What would you say is wrong with soteriology in Christian paradigm?
I think words have meanings. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think justice has meaning?
Yep.
Do you think that justice in our convention, historically and universally, it picks out something that all humans can come and agree upon?
Could you expound on that a little bit? I just kind of want to hear a little expounding on that.
Can all humans from any geographical area or any time period come and agree that an innocent man shouldn't be punished for what he did not do?
Yeah, I can agree on that.
And that's a universal principle that all humans can agree upon in any time period, in any geographical location, right?
Yes, I believe that it's universal that an innocent
Perfect.
shouldn't be made to take the punishment of someone else.
Perfect. And we would expect that God, who's the maximally great being, when he says justice, and when he expresses justice, he would express it in a meaningful way. Right?
A way which humans would, like you said, humans would understand, right?
Right. It would align with the universal convention.
Right, because the law is justice. Justice comes from, so of course.
Good. So if God's justification of the world is unaliving somebody innocent for something he did not do, that is not meaningful. And because it is unmeaningful, because we would expect God, who is the maximally great being, to express justice in a meaningful way, and he doesn't express it in a meaningful way, therefore Christianity is probably false.
Okay, so I can touch on that?
Yep.
Right. So I understand your conventions there, like you said, universally understood justice. What I would say is that everything you said wouldn't be entailed if Christ's death was a forcible act, meaning he willed against it, like he purposely willed against it. He didn't want to go through with it. However, if you're arguing based on the Christian paradigm is that Christ willfully went through with this. So how compared to something like if I could just land this and I'll let you in. I'm not gonna be long-winded. Yeah. I'll just say like, for example, substitutive justice and retributive justice, that someone could substitute themselves for someone else willfully, or someone could just be punished for their own crime on themselves. So I believe that Christ substituted himself, like if someone pays a debt for someone else. That's how I view it.
Yeah. Even if he does it willfully, he's still being punished for something he did not do. Is that correct?
Yes.
Does that violate our justice?
No, because Christ willfully did it, and because he did it, he became a substitute for it.
Sir, willfully or not?
Could I give an analogy?
No, we're gonna have a conversation, dude. Stop.
We're having let me continue. Are you gonna come in?
Cut in. I was speaking, bro. I was speaking. Willfully or not, it still violates our convention because you said it's universal.
Okay, so again, as I said, it doesn't violate it because as I said, your convention follows if it's forced. But as I said, you're just trying to.
I didn't speak about forced or not.
And you asked me, right? You asked me if I agree. I said yes, I agree. If it's by force, if it's forced, I believe.
No, it's no.
Well, if I didn't say that, I say it now. I'm clarifying.
All right. Let's go back. So is it unjust to punish somebody for something he did not do?
Yes, it's unjust to punish someone for someone they didn't do. If that person
even if it's willful.
If it's what?
Even if it's not forced.
If they are willfully choosing to substitute themselves, I don't believe that's wrong. No.
No, even if it's not forced.
I just answered you. If they're willfully taking the punishment for themselves, I don't believe it's wrong. No.
So if somebody takes the death penalty for something he did not do willfully, that's just?
Yes, I believe that satisfies justice because it's substitutive justice, which is my whole point. Could I give an analogy? You said it's a conversation, so why can't I conversate with you?
Just one second. So somebody taking the death penalty willfully for something that he did not do is just?
Yeah. Could I go on ahead now?
All right, go ahead.
All right. So, for example, the analogy that we always give is the Bible in Luke chapter 11. What's the word? It kind of equates sin as a debt. So someone like they can pay your debt for you willfully. Someone could take on your sin willfully if they themselves are sinless, which is what Christ did. Because again, I believe in substitutive and retributive justice. So I just believe Christ's death is substitutive justice. So I believe it is just if the person takes on this crime, this debt, or takes on this punishment willfully, willfully substituting themselves in your place. I believe that's totally fine because Christ substituted.
You keep
Hopefully
cutting out.
Heard that last part.
You keep cutting out. Yeah. So again, that is disanalogous because we're not talking about. Where'd this guy go, dude?
Sorry, someone called me. Were you able to hear?
All right. That's disanalogous.
Were you able to hear me?
Oh my God, bro. You keep cutting me off.
Able to hear me. What's your problem? I'm asking.
I heard you, bro. I heard you.
All right, chill out. Come on, go ahead.
That's disanalogous because paying for somebody else is not being punished for physically punished, taking a punishment for a crime you did not commit. So again, there is a universal principle, right? That it is not just to harm someone for the guilt or crime of another, whether it's forced or not forced. Now we're going to get to that forced point in a bit because I think Jesus was forced. But let's deal with that later. Even without force. Let me give you this example. If somebody, I just want you to answer it again. If somebody is crucified, anybody, or somebody is beheaded for something that he himself did not do, whether he was forced to be beheaded or whether he volunteered to be beheaded, is that just?
Again, if it's unwillful on their side, I believe it still satisfies justice. Yes, 100%.
So letting somebody who committed a crime, who deserves to be beheaded, walk free because somebody else who didn't commit a crime decided to want to be beheaded is just?
Yes. Could I explain why? Could I expound?
Under what universal principle? I want you to justify it.
Under the principle that justice is both substitutive and retributive. It could be substitutive.
I don't agree.
Okay, I don't agree with anything you're saying as well, but let me continue, right? So as I said, you said my analogy is disanalogous, but I would disagree. Because punishment, I don't believe punishment is only physical. I don't believe punishment is only physical, right? You mentioned physical punishment. I don't believe that's the only place it could be. For example, a definition here, punishment, suffering, pain, or loss that serves as retribution. And it also mentioned financial penalty as punishment. So
that's not how conventions work.
Let me continue though.
You need to deal with
the analogy I gave, which you said is disanalogous.
That's not how conventions work. You know what a convention is?
Could you explain it for me? I don't necessarily have the definition.
It's how we usually use words and what they pick out.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So you could say punishment includes also financial penalty. That's fine. But when we talk about convention or justice and how it works, we as humanity can agree that paying a debt, financial debt for someone else is fine, right? But we as a humanity have not agreed that being physically harmed for someone else is fine. All right? So this depends on the meaningful expression of the convention. You're just playing semantics. So everybody can come together and agree.
I disagree.
Paying somebody's debt, or paying somebody's car insurance, or paying somebody's car note is fine. It's an act of good. But as humanity, we have come in and agreed universally. You could ask anybody from any place, from any time, that if somebody is beheaded for something he did not do, this is injustice.
Okay, could I comment on that now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just not agree that I go with the conventional way of using it. I believe I go with the definitional way of using these words. So, like, I believe punishment can be based. I believe punishment can be based on like debt as well. So when I say, for example, can I give you an example that I want you to answer? If someone jumps, if someone,
you're not attacking my point.
How come you can question me? I can't ask you anything. What's
because you keep
cutting me off and not letting me.
No, sorry. One sec. I moved you back.
Go ahead. Go.
Brother, you need to understand. You're not attacking my point. How do we know something is just or not? Let's start there. Man. How do we know if something is just or not?
Because if it satisfies retributive justice, if the action is lawful, I'll say, yeah, lawful.
According to who?
God's standard.
Whose standard?
God's standard. Like what he lays out in the scriptures.
That begs the question.
No, I believe we have standard of justice from God.
Not everybody believes in your God. And that begs the question.
You're asking me.
Let me finish. Well, do you think that justice is subjective or objective?
Objective, based on God.
No. Yes. So objective means
you're a theist. Why are you disagreeing with me? You're a theist.
No, I don't believe in divine command theory like an atheist.
So you believe God is subject to morals?
So, I'm gonna explain that and break it down right now. All right. Can you define objective for me? Because you just blundered hard. What is objectivity?
Let me get the definition so I don't mess up. Objective, I'm going to read from Merriam-Webster Dictionary.
Yes, sure.
All right. Expressing or dealing with facts or conditions as perceived without distortion by personal feelings, prejudices, or interpretations.
So without any personal opinion, right?
No personal opinion.
So that includes God's personal opinion.
I don't believe God's personal opinion is, in the personal opinion in our sense, as subjective. I believe it's objective.
That's called, in logic, that's called special pleading.
I'm not special pleading. I believe. Again, you're a theist. Why are you disagreeing with me?
I disagree with you because objective morality is that which is true necessarily in every possible world, and does not flow from God's personal opinion, rather is grounded in God's essence. That's the difference.
I believe God is the one that grounds all possible worlds, so it would flow from him. I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah. All right. So you're not understanding. Can God decide?
Could I just say what you said then?
Just hold on.
Could I steal man if you said I'm not understanding?
Let me just hold on.
Bro, you just said I'm not understanding. Let me steal man.
If it flows from God's free will, in a possible world, can God will that unaliving that's graping somebody is just?
No, because that goes against God's own nature itself.
Right. So it doesn't flow from his will, it flows from his nature, right?
God's will is of his nature. So yeah.
Oh my God. There's a difference between flowing from God. Dude, can you stop that? I'm like teaching you like you're my student.
Bro, you cutting me off. You're not even letting me talk. What's the problem? You said this is a conversation.
No, because we can't stick on one conversation.
Yet when I conversate, you cut me off.
We keep taking us somewhere else. All right. So let me just finish the idea.
This is your point.
Let me finish the idea. We're having a conversation.
Okay, I speak. So let me conversate. You speak. I speak. You speak. I speak.
You ask me. I answer.
Right.
So stop with it.
Right.
Stop with it.
So if I speak, you speak. Don't do this game.
So
go ahead.
Start, Glenn. I'm not done, bro. Let me get my ideas across.
And when I wasn't done, you cut me off. What are you playing? You're playing games. I wasn't done. You cut me off. What is this, bro? I know you're a real Toronto man. You're a real Toronto man like me. You're a real Toronto man like me, bro. Why
I think you're a passionate dude. I'm not gonna kick you off. Let's reset.
Listen,
all right, let's reset. Let's reset.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead. Let's reset. Okay.
Go ahead.
If something flows from God's free will, that means it could have been otherwise in another possible world, correct?
Could you explain that? What do you mean by that?
God has free will, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning he could choose to do something or command something, or possibly he could have not chosen or commanded that thing, right?
Right. Well, I'd say in alignment with his nature. Yes.
Right. So there's a possible world where he can command something or choose to do something. And there's another possible world where he doesn't command that thing, or he commands something opposite to that thing, right?
I would say that depends on if it's in line with his nature. For example,
I agree with you. That's given already.
So like the example you said of grape, I would say that's
Well,
something that cannot work, right?
We're gonna get there.
Right.
We're gonna get there. Just follow that.
Wait, you would agree with me, right? You'd agree with me, right?
I agree with you.
Okay.
That's already given. Okay, good. Are moral commands, do they flow from his will or from his nature?
They flow from his nature.
From his nature. That means God, if something is objectively just, it has nothing to do with God's personal opinion. I mean, he can't choose one day that it's just or it's not just. Rather, it's just in every possible world, right?
Yes, and I would add that I believe that God's will is of his nature. So I don't believe there's a separation there.
Yeah, but we're talking about God's will is of his nature.
You're trying to push a separation or a distinction. I'm not trying to push that.
No, we're not. That has nothing to do with what we're saying. We're not saying God's will is outside of his nature.
You just asked me if morality flows from his nature. Bro, can I just respond? You just asked me if morality flows from God's nature or from his will. I said his nature. But I also said that I don't believe there's any separation between God's will and his nature.
Did I say there's a separation? Did I separation?
I didn't say you did. I never said you did. Right. So you did not. You did not. I'm just saying I didn't say you did. All I'm saying is I believe. I'm telling you what I believe.
All right. Nice, man. Do you want to tell me if you believe the sky is blue as well?
Yes, the sky is blue as well.
All right, nice. Well, it has nothing to do. So you don't tell me your beliefs if they're not relevant to what we're talking about.
They are, because you're bringing both of them up. So
now let's get back.
Okay, let's go ahead.
If morality flows from God's nature, meaning he cannot will otherwise.
Okay.
He cannot will otherwise in any possible world. If something is unjust, he cannot will otherwise in any possible world, right?
Correct, I agree with you.
Beautiful. Is justice grounded in God's nature, or does God decide what is just or not?
So, okay, could I respond to that? Because I agree with you. It is grounded in his nature. I'm going to answer that. It's grounded in his nature. Now, in response to you, as you said, I believe God's will is of his nature. So I don't believe he can decide against it because it's his will for morality to come forth. So I agree with you. It's grounded in his nature. There you go.
Grounded in his nature. That means God doesn't decide what is just, right?
Could I respond to that? Because I would say...
Oh my God, bro, if I ask you a question, you don't have to say, can I respond to that? You just respond.
Yes. So I agree that God does decide it because I said it's of his nature, meaning his nature is his will. Did I just tell you that? Did I just tell you that?
If God decides something, that means he could have decided otherwise, right?
No, I disagree. I just believe it.
Get out. Get the hell out, dude. Oh my God, you cannot be this slow. You literally cannot be this brain dead. If something is grounded in God's nature, he doesn't decide it. It just is. If he decides it, that means you could have decided otherwise. Oh my God. I'm going to bring you back, dude. But please track what you're saying, because you sound extremely stupid.
Okay, let me just say this. If I'm using the wrong language to make my point, I'm sorry about that. Because maybe decide is the wrong term. But I do agree that God's justice flows from God's nature. I agree with you there. So if decide is the wrong word, then I'm able to concede that I use the wrong term. Okay?
Okay, good. Okay. All right. So then God doesn't get to say this is just and this is not just. It's either just or not in every possible world. Right?
I'll agree. Could I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
So when you say God doesn't get to say, are you saying that it doesn't flow from God? Or are you saying like God's bound by that? Or because
meaning God can't say
So
Meaning, I'll tell you, meaning God can't say lying is good tomorrow, right?
and he cannot say that because it's his nature, right?
Because it's grounded in his nature.
Grounded in his nature, meaning it's of him.
Right.
Okay, we agree. I'm with you on that.
All right, perfect. That means morality is grounded in God's nature. God doesn't choose if today this is just, tomorrow it's not just. If something is just, it just is just. If something is not just, it just isn't just. God doesn't have a personal opinion.
I agree, but then I'll say, why do you reject the divine command theory? Because it seems that you're positing that divine command theory teaches that God decides based on like his own arbitrary standard.
Divine command
but even
theory,
those who believe divine command theory, I believe, if I got it wrong, I got it wrong. But I believe they believe that God's commands are based off his nature, so it'd be the same thing.
Divine command theory asserts that morality is not an eternal truth. That rather it could be otherwise in another possible world.
Could you give me a reference for this?
Look it up, bro. What reference? You want me to pull up a scan out of my behind for you? What are you talking about reference?
You gave me a definition of divine command theory. I want to see where you
look it up, bro. Just go into Encyclopedia of Philosophy and search the entry under divine command theory and read it. What do you mean, give me a reference? Everybody knows it. Go to Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, find the entry on it, and read it. If you're not familiar with the literature, then I'm not here to teach you basic things. Go and look it up, and then come back.
No, I'm familiar with it. I'm just saying I don't think you're positive. Like here, the divine command. I'm going to read something. It says the divine command theory essentially teaches that a thing is good because God commands it to be done, right?
There you go.
Is that a good definition?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that command of God is of his nature. Like, I don't think that's a problem to say. But
then you're not a divine command theorist.
What I'll say is that I'm still learning about this. So I'll pause it. I could be wrong. So go ahead with your point.
Thank you. So now we can finally move on.
Go ahead with your point.
God, what is just is not what God says is just. Rather, what is just, right, is just, and because it's just, God says it's just. That's the difference, right? It's not just because God says it's just. It is just, and because it is just, God says it's just. You get it?
And when you say it's just because God says it's just, that's because it's grounded in his nature, correct?
Right. Okay. Because all eternal truths are grounded in the eternal mind, in the necessary mind, that is God. So the laws of logic are grounded in God's essence. Numbers are grounded in God's essence. Eternal moral truths are grounded in God's essence, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so I'm willing to be wrong there. So I'll posit that. Go ahead.
Perfect. So now, for example, why is murder wrong?
Because it goes against justice, or it goes against morality.
Why?
Because it's of God. Like God's nature says it's wrong. I agree.
That begs the question.
What's the right way to say it then?
We just agreed that God doesn't decide if something is wrong. It just is wrong, and because it's wrong, God says it's wrong.
It's wrong because it's grounded
now
in
when
nature.
you tell me,
we agreed upon,
and
right?
now I'm asking you, what is the justification that murder is wrong? You can't say God, because God doesn't decide if murder is wrong.
Okay, could I answer them? I got it now.
Yeah, why is murder wrong?
Murder is wrong because it goes against the universal laws of morality.
Right, because all humans from all time, from every time period, have come and collectively, universally agreed that there's something within them that causes them to think that murder is wrong.
No, I disagree there. I agree that God, because I posited you that, we don't have to.
You're begging the question again.
Could I just
God
answer?
doesn't decide murder is
answer you. Let me just answer you, man.
All right, man.
So
all right.
God has we agreed that morality is grounded in his nature. Fine, good. So we have the Bible, which I believe is true. You're trying to force me outside of a theistic worldview. I don't want to hold it.
That begs the question.
Could I still answer? We have the Bible, which God has put revealed the universal laws of morality within that book, and thus we go by based off the morality listed within the book.
I'm asking for the grounding and justification, not for somebody telling me that, by the way, this is universally wrong. I'm asking for what the justification for it is.
Right. So someone revealed the universal nature, universal morality laws within the book.
How do you know it's universal?
Because it's of God, what God has told us. Like, I agree there.
Oh my God, we just agreed God doesn't decide what if murder is wrong or not. It just is wrong.
This is not even positing God deciding. I'm just saying this is universal.
All right, but I'm asking you what justifies that.
Universal, and God has revealed this universal law.
You asked me, I asked you what justifies it. You keep saying God when we already agreed God doesn't decide if murder is wrong.
Okay, let me ask you again. Is murder of his nature? Is it
murder of his nature? What does that even mean?
Sorry, is morality of his nature? Is it grounded in his nature?
It's grounded in God's essence.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that this God has revealed to us a book where he tells us these moral laws which are grounded within his nature. He's just revealing his nature to us. That's what I'm saying.
How do you know that's true?
Because the Bible is true. The Bible has shown itself to be true.
That's circular. How do you know what the Bible is telling you is something that is universally and eternally wrong in every possible work? How do you know that's true? For example, let's say in the Vedas, it reads that having a phone is wrong universally in every possible world. And you say, well, what justifies that? Because my book says it. That's not a justification. I'm asking you, why is it a universal moral truth to begin with? How do you find that out?
Right. So, as I would say, the Veda, the book you mentioned, which I believe is the Hindu book, wouldn't have justification for it being true. The Bible does, so that's my answer.
That doesn't answer the justification.
I believe it does.
What is the justification for murder? Why is murder wrong?
Because it goes against the nature of
God. Before the Bible was revealed, was murder wrong?
Of course it was.
Why is it wrong?
Because it goes against his nature, which he's revealed to us.
Why does it go against his nature?
Because he revealed it to us what his nature is and what he has shown as right and wrong based on his nature.
Dude, are you out of your mind?
I just told you that he shows us what's wrong based on his nature. He reveals us his nature.
All right. And so do you agree, for example, that God told you that you can't eat shellfish?
I agree that God has made that claim from his nature within the book. So you could say yes.
All right. Is not eating shellfish.
Sorry. I heard. That's my fault. I tried to respond way too quickly. Could you repeat the question?
God said that you can't eat certain foods, right? Like pork, for example.
Yeah, Old Testament law, yeah.
Is that an eternal moral truth?
I would say no.
So he says you can't murder. He also says you can't eat pork. One is an eternal moral truth that doesn't flow from his will, flows from his nature. The other is not an eternal moral truth and it flows from his will. How do you distinguish both?
Right. So I would say the more, like Christians, we understand moral and ceremonial. So I would say the ceremonial laws are those which are decided, like you said. And I say the moral laws are those which are grounded in his nature.
But both are commanded by God. I'm saying, why is this not a moral teaching?
Right, because the same Bible tells us, for example, in Colossians chapter 2, that there are ceremonies and rituals that God has done away with on the cross because they were not moral laws, but were just distinguishers or ceremonies. So this would be an example of that. Or like circumcision or sacrifice as well.
You keep begging the question. I'm telling you, God said you can't do this, and God said you can't do that. How do you know this comes from this is grounded in his nature, and this one is not grounded in his nature? Rather, it's subject to change.
Right. So the places, because you're mentioning where God said this and they said not to do this, that comes from the text of the Bible, the words of God. So the same text of the Bible tells us that there are things that God has commanded which are ceremonial, and things which is commanded are moral, which are of his nature. So things like shellfish, like food laws, ceremonies, rituals, sacrifices are ceremonies. Things like murder, adultery, honoring your parents, like 10 Commandments or moral laws as well, are of his nature. So the
You're
Bible
you're
makes
not
that.
answering the question.
So
You're
the
not giving
answer
the
to your the answer to
justification.
your question is the word of God itself makes that distinction for us.
But the word of God doesn't decide what is eternally true and what is not, right?
The word of God doesn't decide it? No, because it flows from God. God reveals us his word.
Thank you. So what is the justification that one is eternally true? It can't be otherwise in any possible world, and one can be otherwise. What is the justification?
Because the morality, which is grounded in God's nature, the God that grounds morality within himself, within his nature, I should say, it revealed what is morally right within his book and what is his own decisions, ceremonialized within his book. So he's revealing it to us. That's all I'm saying. Through his word.
And I'm asking you,
I'm not saying the word is what's telling him. I'm saying he's revealing it through his word.
And I'm asking you for the justification.
The justification of?
For that.
For
why something is moral or not.
Yeah, I told you justification is that God is grounded in his nature. God reveals us. It's like, for example, God reveals us his law.
He reveals it, but what's the justification that if he tells you it, that means it's an eternal moral truth?
Because he again revealed it. That's all I would say. Could I ask you an example before you kick me? Could I ask an example before you kick me?
All right, so let's do it.
Could I ask an example before you kick me, bro?
Start, Glenn. If I come and tell you, listen, man.
I wanted to give you an example.
Listen, man. If I come and tell you that marrying multiple women is a wrong, or it's a moral eternal truth that you can't marry multiple women. I revealed that to you. I told you it. Does that mean I'm justified in doing that?
Yes, because that's grounded in his nature. I agree.
Oh my God. So because I tell you it, that means I'm justified in telling you it?
Well, you're just telling me something that's already grounded in God's nature. So you're just revealing that to me.
Wait, polygamy is eternally wrong?
I believe polygamy is something that goes against God's ideal will. So I'll say yes. Yeah. Go again. Say that, yeah.
So polygamy is an eternal moral truth that it's wrong?
The Bible makes that plain that, God's will, God's morality is that you marry one woman, you marry one wife. That's God's will. I'm willing to grant that I may be expounding on these wrong. What I'm saying is that God's will is for you to be monogamous. I'm granting I might be wrong.
You keep blundering one after another. The blunders are not stopping. So first of all right, although polygamy is not our subject, I'm just going to correct you quickly before you get baked by a Mormon. All right. David had multiple women, multiple wives. God says in 2 Samuel that he gave him his wives, and he would have even given him even more. He also says in the book of Kings that God was pleased with everything David did, except the incident with Bathsheba and her husband. So God is pleased with polygamy, right? So what's
the verse where God said he's pleased with everything David did? Did you get that verse?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. 1 Kings 15:5.
Could you read it for me? I'm just going to pull it. What does it say? Verbatim.
For David had done what was right in the eyes of the Lord, and had not failed to keep any of the Lord's commands all the days of his life, except in the case of Uriah the Hittite.
Okay.
So you see how you thought something is an eternal moral truth, and all of a sudden now it's not? That's why I'm asking you.
Could I answer though? Because I don't agree that's not a moral truth. I agree it is moral truth that polygamy is wrong.
Yeah, you can't do polygamy. It's an eternal moral truth.
Yes. Could I now answer your verse in 1 Kings and your verse in what's the place? Could I answer you?
All right, man. Go ahead.
All right. We just read. You're right. It said that God was pleased with what David had done, except in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. You're right. I would say that's because this is written in the 1 Kings. First of all, it's hyperbolic. It's referencing David's general character, not overall kind of thing.
It says all the days of his life.
Right, general, hyperbolic. I mean to say.
It's not general. It gives an exception. If it was general, then it wouldn't have included the exception.
I disagree. I think it could still be like a hyperbolic statement, just meaning that David's overall life and
What?
character was in alignment with God's will.
It says he never failed to do anything wrong all the days of his life, except, meaning there is only one exception of everything else, right?
So I believe that there could be a literary device used whilst referencing an exception. I don't think that's...
Get out of here, dude. Yeah, not now. Not now.